Hi, my name is Shane McBride, and this is my wife Mitzi. And we are blessed to have three beautiful kids right now. Zach is 5, Katie Grace will be 4 this summer, and Elijah, who's our adopted son from Ethiopia, he will be 4 next March.
The orphan care ministry is something that God just grabbed my heart, particularly in college, and I went and visited an orphanage in Guatemala and was changed forever.
And from that point, it has been our family's ministry.
And about 6 months after bringing home Elijah, we started the process of adopting a little girl from Ethiopia. God drew us specifically to HIV adoption, and that was something that 3 years ago, if you had asked us if we would ever adopt a child, well, we had someone say, "Are you open to HIV?" And we were like, who would do that? And so God has just moved our hearts and educated us on the truth, and that it's not a threat, that they can live a normal life.
The process for us to moving from a normal adoption to a special needs HIV adoption was something that the Lord used to educate us on HIV, and it put it in perspective that HIV is the modern day leprosy. Years ago, where did Jesus go to when people were ostracized? Jesus went to the leper. They walked to him and he healed them. At that time, that was the outcast, that was the marginalized illness. And the same is true for today with HIV. About a year ago, I met with a ministry executive director locally in Plano here, and he was telling me about his ministry, and I wanted to learn more about it, and he was actually serving the kids in Zambia.
And it was interesting how God really just captured Shane's heart for Zambia, and then over time moved our hearts also towards that. In February, I went on a retreat, and I said, "Lord, I really want to hear from you." And I looked down, I said, "Make yourself clear, to what you want." And I looked down, and there was a piece of paper sticking out of the Bible that was Acts 1:8. And before I even opened it, I knew what it was, because Shane, we had been studying it in biblical hermeneutics the month before. We spent a whole month on Acts 1:8. And I then realized God's been trying to tell us something, and it is, for you have received power when the Holy Spirit comes upon you. You'll be my witnesses in Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and the other parts of the world. I guess the next Friday, I emailed Shane, or I called him, and
Mitzi says, "Hey, there is a director for the orphan project in Zambia. The current director just resigned, and they are looking for people to go ASAP." And ultimately, we just felt like the Lord was calling us.
I think the hardest thing was the adoption process. What do we do? What do we do with that?
So Mitzi's heart was really, she had a mother's heart. It was really broken at what are we supposed to do. And I felt like the Lord was asking us to put that adoption aside, because we had used the education for HIV and AIDS and can apply that to Zambia, where 20% of the population has HIV and AIDS. But that still left the component of, okay, we feel like there's a little girl out there with our adoption agency, already in care by the adoption agency, waiting to be matched with us. So we just had a strong burden for that, especially Mitzi. And the Lord is just so gracious, and He allowed us to get connected with this one other family that was pursuing a little girl the same age, HIV, everything. And we knew that she was going to be cared for, and that she would have a forever family of her own. All right, in the end of July, I'll be flying over to Zambia for 5 weeks to get acclimated to the people, the culture, and then in September, the 22nd actually, our family will be flying over on a one-way ticket to life in Zambia. And we will be serving 210 kids at a school that has a feeding program and an economic stimulus for the local community.
What started as God, we were literally just like, go pick someone else. We don't want to go. And turned our hearts into, we can't wait to get there. And it just came down to, do we truly believe God can do what He says? Are we going to be obedient? At first it was obedience, and now it's a joy.